Garland, real talk for real people, and this is your announcer, always me, Dee Marie, coming straight at you from First United Methodist Church. And if you're excited like I am to be here, let me hear you make some noise. This episode of The Method is presented to you by the youth and young adults at First United Methodist Church. It's time for the talking to begin, y'all. You're listening to The Method at Garland. Real talk for real people.
Welcome to The Method. I'm MCCC Caroline Knoll, your host for today's episode. Dee Murray?
Yes, MCCC.
We're going to have a great show today. Do you know what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, but before we get to that, are you going to tell our listeners about the history of our show?
I can do that, Dee. The Method at Garland is based on the 22 questions of personal reflection of the founders of the Methodist movement in Great Britain and America when they were students at Oxford. Each show topic is something pertaining to these questions. Today's question is Holy Club question number 20. Is there anyone whom I fear, dislike, disown, criticize, hold a resentment toward, or disregard?
Ooh.
If so, what am I doing about it?
Ooh.
So today we present the method to addressing haters.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting conversation, okay? Because I got some haters out there, MCCC. People be hating on me and stuff. How you feel about haters, MCCC?
Tell me, Dee.
I'm going to tell you, when, you got it going on, people are going to be jealous, and I'm not going to stop being who I am to lower myself so that another person can be secure about their insecurity. So I'm going to value myself more than that, and I'll get the conversation started with some popular quotes from some famous people on the subject of haters. Trying to get everyone to like you is a sign of mediocrity. And that comes from our 65th U.S. Secretary of State, General Colin Powell. Our next quote is from the Biebs. I love Justin Bieber. And he says, of course, I think that people are just waiting for the time when I make a mistake and they're going to jump on it. There's going to be haters. And from baseball outfielder for the Mets and former NFL quarterback Tim Tebow, he says this: no matter what happens, you're always going to have those critics and those haters. You just have to learn how to deal with it. I think I have and have accepted that.
I do feel that people wait for us to mess up so they can criticize us. But if we do mess up, we can't let them get to us because they're going to mess up sometimes too.
So I got a question. I'm just curious. What is it about human nature that likes to see other people fail? Why do you think that makes us, that creates so much interest and so many people love it when there's reports about how this person or that person fails?
I think it's because if we see that someone else has failed at something that we can do, okay, it makes us feel like we're better at it than someone, and it gives us, more confidence about it.
Okay. All right, so we think it reflects better on us to know that they have shortcomings, they can't do this as well as me, or they can't do, or they failed at this or that. It makes us feel better about ourselves sometimes. Where in your life do you think people, you have people that are just looking to see when you mess up? Are there places in your life where you feel like people are constantly watching to see if you mess up?
At school.
At school? Okay.
So in my Spanish class, it's with a lot of kids who don't care about the class. And since it's pretty much all completion grades, I have a 100 average in that class. And I know kids who are consistently failing. So a lot of the times they'll kind of look at me just like, oh, well, why are you so special? And so whenever I do get something wrong, it kind of gives them a lot of enjoyment. Just see, you're not perfect. So that's one instance I really see that a lot.
An example that I have is during football practice where the older kids are watching the younger kids see when they fail so that way they can have a shot to show them that they're perfect and everything.
Those are all great examples. I think that's one of the things that is one of the weaker sides of human nature sometimes, is that our own insecurities, our own shortcomings, cause us to be fearful that people are going to find those out about ourselves. So we always celebrate when we find them out about other people, that we can say, well, at least I don't do this, or well, at least I don't do that. I remember several passages in the Bible where someone says, well, at least I'm not like that person, and I think that's a common issue with our human nature that causes us to be haters, is when we are just glad that we can claim to be better than someone else because of those.
I got one. I think sometimes it has to do with trust. Like, there's people in our lives that make rules for us that we don't have any control over. Like, when you're a kid, it might be your parents, but when you're older, it could be your boss or the school you go to or whatever. And so if these people are going to make rules and tell you that this is the right way to do it, maybe it's the laws of our country, maybe it's the way our church organizes or what we say we believe in, I want to know if I can trust those people that are saying that this is the way my world's going to work. And so then when they fail, then we have questions about, well, who are you then to be setting these rules? And you see a vulnerable side to them. And it's easy to slip from compassion and seeing them as real people who make mistakes to haters and just throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
I think that's a really good point as far as people of faith to think about, that if we're going to go and say we think or believe things, and then we're going to go out and do something completely opposite of that, then no matter what we say, it's not going to have as much validity. We can claim it's because people are hating, but sometimes it's because we're not living up to the standards that we claim to say are important. So that's an interesting thought.
This has been a great conversation, but we got to take a quick break. Before we go to break, I have one question. Hey, do you like the method? Woo! Let our listeners know you're listening to The Method at Garland, and we'll be right back. SMU Perkins School of Theology is more than a theological school. It's a community of men and women who want to improve the lives of others. Not only is Perkins one of the leading theological schools in North America, but it's a place that supported and nurtured me to serve with creativity, compassion, and urgency. There are several degree programs you can choose from. Not only can you get a Master's of Divinity from Perkins, but a Master's in Theological Studies, Master's of Arts and Ministry with several concentrations, a Master's in Sacred Music, and a Doctorate in Ministry or Pastoral Music. We are all called to be in ministry, but if you want help discerning your call in your life, dial 214-768-2138 or email your question to theology@smu.edu. Tell them MCCC sent you. This is Caroline Knoll, proud alumnus of Perkins School of Theology, and we're so glad that Perkins School of Theology supports the method. Real talk for real people.
If you're bored and looking for something to do on Wednesday night, come out to Wednesday Windows here at First United Methodist Church, Garland. We have weekly family dinner and programs for everyone in the family. Dinner is from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. $5 for adults, $3 for kids, and just $15 for the whole family. If you're a vegan, we have $5 salads for you. You don't have to worry about washing dishes, and you can have a good time with us. Come out to Wednesday Windows. We're at 801 West Avenue B, here in downtown Garland. We can't wait to see you. Let's make it happen. For more information, call 972-272-3471.
This do-it-yourself message has been presented to you by the staff and crew of The Method. Here are some suggestions you might want to consider when reaching out to others. First, you have to care about people no matter who they are. Then, you go where they are. And most importantly, you have to respect others. Respecting others is very important. Thanks for your support. You're listening to The Method at Garland. Real talk for real people.
Today's episode, The Method to Addressing Haters, is based on Holy Club question number 20. Is there anyone whom I criticize or hold resentment towards? If so, what am I doing about it? Well, the staff and the crew of The Method have some suggestions on how to make that happen. First and foremost, don't be the hater. Second, don't let haters keep you from achieving your goals. And finally, to put haters in their place, surprise them and respond to their jealousy with kindness and compassion. Thanks for your support. You're listening to The Method at Garland. Real talk for real people.
You're listening to The Method at Garland. We've been having a meaningful conversation on ways we can take the focus off ourselves and on others. We've been talking about the method to dealing with haters. For this segment, we're going to talk about what the Bible says about this.
Well, we have been having a wonderful conversation today on the whole issue of haters. And so I'd like for us to take a little time to expand on that here as we come to the end of our show. I would like to hear a little bit more from you as far as some of the biblical thoughts or perspectives about this subject. You know, the Bible tells us not to covet what others have. It's one of the commandments. How often do you find yourself or others falling short on this or having the issues with coveting things that are not ours?
I'm going to say I have trouble with that because I have an issue with my weight. And so I see somebody pretty and skinny. I be like, see, how come I can't get that cute top? I'm too chunky. I mean, I'm that's the first thing I do. I'm jealous because you look hot and I don't.
Okay. I think self-image, body image is a big part of things that we get covetous about or get jealous about. What are some other things?
A lot of times I'll see girls who, like, I grew up with and, like, I know how mean they can be. And then I see them with, like, a bunch of friends, looking really pretty, getting all the boys, and it's just like, okay, but who was mean to me March 3rd, 2007, okay? You're the worst. Like, that's one thing that I struggle with is I hold grudges. So it's like, you could have said one mean thing to me in, like, 3rd grade, and I'd be like, okay, but still, remember you stole my pencil? That was a good pencil, too. It was a mechanical pencil. And it's a problem.
All right.
I hear my friend going to, like, Mexico for New Year's and Colorado for Christmas. And I'm like, why can't I go to those places, go out and have fun in, like, Los Angeles and stuff like that where she goes?
Yeah, and I think that's one of my big ones personally is, thinking, I have like my brother or someone that, or someone in my family talking about, oh, we're taking a trip to Alaska or we're going doing this and I'm going over here. And I know I find myself saying, man, I wish I could go do all those things too. And it's true. I think that's one of my biggest things is those experiences, coveting going to different places like that people get to go to.
I know last year, my brother did really good at his job, and as his perk for doing good at his job, he got to go to Hawaii. They sent him on a trip to Hawaii. The perk for my job, it just happened to be the same week, is my kids got to bring home palm branches from Palm Sunday. So my brother got palm trees, and I got palm branches. Now, if I think about it, like, I would never want to trade jobs. I don't want his life. I really don't. I don't want his job. As much as perks as he get, I love my job. But it's so easy to get sucked into that and to get bitter about it.
Already jealous.
So Palm Sunday, y'all can have all the palm branches you want. Well, and our kids right now, they're going to do What's Up, Zach? They're going to do the children's musical. Talk about haters. There are haters all over that show. I mean, there's the mayor of the town who's just thinking of himself and, is the kind of the lead in hating Zacchaeus and the beggars and anybody who's just lowly. There's Zacchaeus who's greedy. We could go back to that and kind of hating on even his mother, I think the script says. It just, the whole thing. But then we get down to the heart of the message, and the whole message of the story is about love. Mm-hmm. It's about God being present in Jesus in that town and showing love and compassion in a town that was just full of hate.
Well, that really brings me to a point I'd like to kind of maybe wrap up some of this conversation around. What prevents you or what helps you keep from becoming a hater? What in your life helps you from becoming or going to that place?
Remembering how it felt when people hated on me.
Okay.
Not wanting to cause that on someone else and have them feel like I felt before.
Okay. Dylan?
One thing that really helps me is noticing how happy people get whenever you're genuinely nice to them. Like randomly complimenting someone's outfit because you genuinely think it's cute. Like people get so surprised. They're just like, whoa, thank you. And it's just such a nice feeling knowing that you're making other people happy. And I've noticed that a lot recently, that I've been trying to push myself to do that instead of hating on people because it's like, man, that outfit's cute. I wish I had that. You know, like it's two sides of the
that's
same
good.
coin.
Instead of doing that, go up to them, tell them, hey, I really like your outfit.
I'm digging your boots, Dylan.
I think another way that we can, not hate on other people is to be thankful for what we have ourselves. We as ourselves are blessed to have what we have. There's so many people that don't have things like homes and clothes and things like that. And so to be truly thankful for what you have can really make you not be jealous of other people.
That's a great one. And I think that's one of the big ones for me is when we go on mission trip or we go on these to other parts of the country or other places, and we realize, wow, we thought we didn't have stuff or we thought this or that. Sometimes it helps to get perspective and realize that we truly have a lot to be thankful for.
I remember there was this one girl in our school who was always popular and stuff, and I was like, why? And she could be a little bit mean, but then I found out why she was so popular, like family issues with her brother and her dad. And I was like, oh wow, I wish I hadn't hated her for a while because she's just having a hard time, and I just ignored her and I had no idea.
Me and this friend, we'd known each other literally since we were like 2 months old. And so we were like really good friends. This was about 4th grade. And she started becoming friends with one of the people who bullied me. So like I hated her for that. I hated both the bully and her so much that I didn't talk to her for 2.5 years. And then we finally like talked it out one day whenever my friend Lauren came into town from Louisiana, and she was like, Lauren, Andy, talk this out. And I was like, okay. And so we talked it out, and it was because I had been like obsessing with trying to play basketball and failing horribly at it. That she had started to play with the girl who was bullying me because, she didn't have anyone else to play with.
This has been a meaningful conversation. We're going to take a break and then come back with final thoughts. You're listening to The Method at Garland.
This do-it-yourself message is an offering from the staff and the crew of The Method. It's hard forgiving people for the injustice they cause in our lives, but only through forgiveness that the healing process can begin. Here are some suggestions on empowerment to begin the pathway to healing. Understand that the person that has wronged us may not ever apologize for the pain they caused. So don't wait for an apology to start the healing process. Look for positive ways to process what we have been through. Go to counseling. Take a painting or creative writing class. Start a new hobby. Finally, realize that the pain and anger will go away with time. Thank you for your support. You're listening to The Method, real talk for real people.
Randy, Dee, do you have any final thoughts for the show?
I have one. First of all, I appreciate everybody's testimony today because we've heard people talk about what it means to be hated on and how people ended up being haters themselves. But one thing that I noticed in both conversations is how somehow somebody initiated reconciliation. And I think that's a good thing. And when we think about being a hater or being hated on, I think that it just really comes down to one word, and that's love. If we really love God like we profess that we do, we wouldn't do half the things that we did to other people. What you think, Randy?
No, I think that sums it up well. I really think the bottom line is, do what we focus on. And if we focus on love, if we focus on reconciliation, if we focus on understanding, then, and if we focus on thankfulness, if we keep our eyes on those things, the other things will not have a place. They will fade away, and we will be able to move past all that, move past all those things.
I agree with Randy on we have to understand before we go and hate someone.
I think, too, a good word is for everybody, you got to deal with your stuff. A lot of times when you're out there hating on somebody else or biting their head off, it's because you got your own junk going on. And it's so much easier to be a hater than to sit down and work on your own stuff and have that love and compassion for yourself so you can have it for others. All right, Dee.
Yes, ma'am. You ready for me to take us home?
Take us home.
I can do that, CC. You've been listening to The Method at Garland, real talk for real people. This episode of The Method has been presented by the youth and young adults of First United Methodist Church. If you want to make a difference in your community, you can do it by following the G Code. Do no harm, do as much good as you can, and love God and others. That's the United Methodist way, and guess what? It could be your way, too. This is your announcer, always me, Dee Marie, thanking you for your support and being down with the Method. Be blessed and be empowered. The Method at Garland is an outreach ministry of First United Methodist Church and is recorded before a live audience.